What is up, winning team? I have another theory. It's been a crazy whirlwind with the Lord the last few days, and I have come up with a scientific but a spiritual theory for the fourth dimension and why the multiverse actually makes sense, but not in the way science is thinking of it. You guys, I don't know how this happens, but the Lord be delivering. So anyway, in this video, guys, I have had so many thoughts. It's so hard to try and articulate in this dimension what I experience when I'm with the Lord. And this is why I hate it here. So this video serves as an intro, I guess, because I don't exactly know how I'm going to unpack this whole thing. And this was not what I planned to film today. But obviously I didn't plan that the Lord was going to me and the Lord were going to have this moment. And the reason why I don't know how to articulate it is because it's like everything came together, like from what I was talking about with him on an emotional level, to what I've been talking about with him on a scientific level, to what I've been talking about him with on just a global scale of history of science. Like it all just came together into this one theory that actually extends off of my Adam and Eve theory, ironically. And it's like a whole new theory because I haven't heard anybody put it like this. But it kind of puts everything together. Like what we did. So if you guys are new here, you might not know that we actually had a whole entire series on the fourth dimension. There's a whole playlist. You guys can go and check it out. In that playlist, we're reading through this book, called The Bubble Theory. Oh, welcome to the party. The Bubble Theory and the fourth dimension, right? And basically what happened is we basically looked through that whole concept, right? And we left that whole idea that at the end of the book, it talks about how in the multiverse, right? I'm giving you guys, this is just the intro, believe it or not. But the multiverse is like just a whole set of bubbles. Then our universe is the universe in our own, it's a bubble, right? And there's all these other multiple bubbles. And in each of all of these bubbles, they all exist how we all exist at their own S energy, so their own particular energy signature. Now, that's where we left it, right? And according to the writer of said book, who you guys know I spoke with, because happens to be the husband of one of my friends, he was like, well, here's the secret. That level is the spiritual world. So I'm like, okay, because there's this crossover, and I don't think people know this, right? In science, scientists believe that our dream state is in the fourth dimension, or maybe like the 3.5 dimension, which is quite fascinating because that links into demons and how, as we saw from Enoch and always seen in earlier in this series, as I'm saying, guys, we're taking a wild turn. I love it though, because I was like, God, I don't know what to talk about. And honestly, all my notes, I know I need to go back to them, but where are we going with this? But we saw that the demons, they kind of in the middle of dimensions almost, right? That's why they're trying to crawl out of that point to be disembodied inside of us. This is why we can experience them, but we can't see them, because they're like half in the fourth dimension, they're like half in our dimension. So in order for them to be in our dimension, they have to be in us, and the same reason for why Jesus came for a human and things had to be done for a human, which is all going to link into my new theory, okay? But what I just want to preface this all with, because I have an answer for it all, why this universe, canon events, the multiverse, I've just I'm putting it together with the Lord. And it's so funny because every time me and the Lord get to these points, right? And this is why it's so hard to talk to a world that's so one-dimensional, because everybody just sits in different pockets. Like they sit in science, or they sit in spirituality, or they sit in this, and they sit in history, they sit in, literature. And it's like, it actually all comes together. Because the way that me and the Lord even got to this is because I was so severely just emotional because I heard this song, right? And it's so weird again, because it links back into this multiverse thing. I've heard this song throughout my life, and there's these songs that I hear them somewhere and I keep hearing them and I can never find what the song is called, right? And what the song is, and I'm just I have to listen to this song, right? And throughout my life, I've heard this is one of those songs I kept hearing, and eventually yesterday, ironically, I found the song, right? And I heard it and I was able to find the song. And I just knew, I was like, I'm going to go outside when I decided to listen to this, because I only heard little bits of it. I didn't know what the lyrics were. I didn't know what it was about. Anyways, so I've gone on to go and do this, to go and have my moment. And my gosh, you guys, when I listened to this song, I broke down in tears because I just could not believe how beautiful it was. Like, I couldn't believe, and this is what I'm saying, this experience is what led to all the science I'm about to talk about, which is why I'm saying that the one-dimensional thinking of people frustrates me, because it's like sometimes I'm including all these details in my videos because I'm giving you all the data, like everything that happened for me to get to a point. Because studying science alone doesn't get you there. Studying history alone doesn't get you there. Studying spirituality alone doesn't get you there. Studying humans alone doesn't get you there. Studying God alone doesn't get you there. You have to study everything. And you have to put everything into and see where there's an overlap, which is actually what my theory essentially is about the multiverse, is that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this. It's that our universe, right? So each of us has free will, right? Which we know. We talk a lot about that here. We each have free will. So like, we, in any moment, I think of it like Sims. This is how I was thinking about it. When you play the game Sims, right? And this was my favorite growing up. Like when I was a kid, we couldn't afford until my brothers came along. Like especially my youngest brother, he's got like every console you can imagine. It wasn't like that when I was a kid, but I'm happy for him. Like genuinely, I'm so happy for him. But the one thing I got to play when I was quite young, like when I was older, as I was always on computers, you guys know I used to play the Elmo game, the Sesame Street game, while I was kicking my little legs, right, with my computer with the floppy disks in the United States when I was like 3 years old, loving my life. And the was it Door Explorer game? There was a few good games. Anyway, and I was like literally 3. So it was something I grew up on technology. Anyways, as I was older, and we were in this country when I was about maybe 10, like, and older I got, I used to love playing The Sims. And the one thing about The Sims is it's exactly like real life. It's like Minecraft. Like, we're just dropped onto the planet, right? And we basically get to do whatever we want to do. Hear me out, because this is going somewhere. So what I'm saying with that is that in all of our choices, this is how I look at it. Us as humans, in every single decision we make, this is going to be so hard to articulate. Like, guys, I find it truly, truly excruciatingly painful coming back down to earth and trying to articulate what I'm experiencing with God. This is why I find myself crying so deeply, because I'll just be in like a moment of pure bliss and joy. Like, I was listening to this song and it was like, it felt like the best moment in my life. Like, I was out with the Lord, the world was asleep. It was dark. It was nighttime. It was cold. And I was just at peace. I don't have to worry about my existence and defending myself and working so hard to keep up my boundaries and working out how to filter what I'm saying and how to sound more coherent, how to use the right vocabulary, how to care about everybody's feelings. I can just live as a human, and I just put my walls down and I just embrace the moment, and I'm just listening to this song and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And I'm just like, I was thinking about it, like, it's like the multiverse. It's like God. It's like how in every single note and next note, every single decision about that song, like, it could become anything. It could become anything, whatever note this note is, and then that note, you could be the possibilities of how all the notes could come together are infinite. And yet someone created this song that has come up with all these concepts, like all these notes, all these left, right turns, the C, the F sharp, the whatever, right? That have made this absolute masterpiece, right? Of a song. And there could have been infinite ways that these notes, these sounds, the length of the sounds, the instruments used, like infinite number of ways these things could have come together. But this song, right, is the most beautiful way that they could have, because I've never in my life heard a song so beautiful, like, in my life. And I can't believe that it was just there in the background all along. And it's like a tale of my life in itself and of God, because that's what the multiverse is. The multiverse is like every single option we have, like Sims. If you were to be able to create a universe, right, a multiverse, where every universe is a result of all the different options that we have. So like in my life, say I have 5 options of what I'm going to do in this exact second, and everybody in the world does, right? They all have 5 options. The multiverse is as if all of those options are like a tree, right? Like because even my thoughts, I feel like when I'm doing now, the reason why it's hard for me to just say my opinion and state a coherent sentence is because my thoughts happen like a tree where there's all the branches happening at the same time. So I'm hopping between branches because it's hard for me to try in this dimension articulate what's happening on like a fourth dimensional type of level. Does that make sense? Because it's all happening simultaneously. Right. And it makes me laugh because when I used to teach dance routines, my dancers used to say that all the time. Like, the funny thing about you is you'll just be dancing to the melody and then you'll just switch to the beat out of nowhere. And it's like, it's true, because that's the bit that doesn't just catches my brain in my trail of thought that I'm having in the third dimension. So even when I'm talking, even when I'm choreographing and creating, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we, in all of our decisions, it's like a branch of trees of options of what we can do. And so the multiverse of bubbles, right? This is how I see it. Let's say each of those is its own data point, right? It's like we're choosing a pathway. And at every point we're standing at the front of 5 different paths, right? So the 5 different paths looks like a tree, if you think about it. We're standing at the 5 different paths, and there is a reality where God has created. We'll come back to that in a second. We'll come to that now. There is a pathway in this system where God has created that there is exactly right turn, correct path for every single stage of our life. Every single decision, there is a correct answer, right? We just don't know it. We don't have the capacity to do so. That's not the point, because that all goes back to Adam and Eve. But the point being is those options, those are collectively taken in together. So imagine those 5 pathways that I have. At the same time I have those 5 pathways or those 5 branches, let's say, I'm amongst other humans, like other trees. We're like a big forest. And so like the actual multiverse bubbles, right? This is what me and the Lord are talking about at 3 a.m. when everybody's asleep and I'm crying at the beauty of this song, right? Every single one of these like branches, we all as people, we have these points of overlap where our particular action, whether we're aware of it or not, is impacting or working with or working against somebody else's. And these points, I'm seeing them as overlapping points, like as branches. So if it's like this tree has these 5 options and these trees have these 5 options of so many options. If you take this option, you take this option, those 2 options are where we overlap, right? I believe that if you were to see those points as 2-dimensional circles, right? If you were to see them as 2-dimensional circles, right? Like, because that's like a point, like a dot on a graph, right? On like a 2-dimensional graph, you draw a dot, or actually draw an X because it's a lot more precise. But let's say we draw a dot. You draw a dot. It's 2-dimensional, right? But then if you get enough circles, 2-dimensional circles, and you arrange them all over each other, eventually you will end up with a sphere, like a bubble, okay? Like a spherical thing. So I think the multiverse is all these universes with the different combinations of what would have happened with all the eventualities and all the options of all the choices we've all had throughout all of history as humans. So all the points of overlap, all the points where this is what would have happened if this person, like, this is how powerful our free will is. When God said he gave us dominion, which he talked about in this series, like sovereign power and all of this, like sovereignty, all power, all authority. This is what he's talking about. He's like, you can do whatever you want. Just like me on Sims. I can decide I'm painting the wall red. I'm painting the wall blue. I used to love the building part. I can also decide I'm going to go and punch this person. I'm going to go and try and tell this person a joke. I'm going to do whatever I want. But then guess what? It's also up to what they decide to do in return, because I might punch them and they might punch me back. We might laugh about it. I might punch them. They might be like, that's horrible, whatever. And they might decide to cry. I might then feel bad. I might decide never to punch somebody again. We might punch each other and think this is great. Let's start a business. Let's start a fight club. Let's start the next UFC. You know what I'm saying? All of our options, like, and this is what I believe is the multiverse. And so like when we're dreaming, right, this is what I've been thinking about. I just don't know how this happens. I don't know why the Lord, and do you know what's crazy about this whole thing? I've been asking God, like genuinely God. Because like really, this is what I'm saying. It's hard for me to know how to articulate all of this without bringing everything into it. Because we got here because when I'm not talking with you guys and whatever, when I'm with the Lord and I'm just saying to him constantly, all I've been thinking about, you guys, I'm like, God, there's nothing I want in this world, because us as humans, we ruin everything. If you gave me all the money in this life and everything, all the whatever I could have, all the community, I just don't think it's going to be worth it. I don't think it's worth it, because I feel like I'm too far gone. I'm too damaged goods. Like the part of me that had hope and faith and energy to give a damn is dead. She's dead. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't even have the energy to even want to do those things. There's so many things I should be doing right now that I'm not doing. And it's just because I just don't care. I don't have the energy to care. I'm trying so hard to dig deep and have the energy, but I just don't see the point. I'm just like, God, I'm too far gone. Like, I'm just too damaged. I just feel like damaged goods. Like, I can't explain it. I know it's so deep. And I'm like, God, why did I have to be born? Like, what was the point of this? And I've been overly fixating on like the moment of my conception, right? Because I'm just like, so many things could have happened. Like, the sperm could have not made it. The sperm could have fertilized the egg, but it didn't plant itself inside the womb. Cells could have started dividing, but they could have just failed. You know what I mean? The health of one of my parents could have been not good enough, and I could have just died. I could have been a miscarriage. I could have died as a child and not have gotten. I could have died so many times. Why am I here? Like, this is what we're asking God. Why am I here? What's the point? And you need to answer this to me. Like, this is why I don't go to the world, because the world will be like, oh, tomorrow's going to be all the nonsense. This is why God knows the only way to talk to me is through science. He knows I don't care to hear the emotional whatever's, because that's just a load of nonsense. There's a load of nonsense telling me that, oh, yeah, you know what, it's so sad being here, but you can try again for tomorrow. It's like, yeah, well, I'm tired. The point is I'm tired. The point is you haven't provided a solution. You provided some words to try and coddle me, or some more work on my shoulders of what more I need to do, when I'm telling you that I'm exhausted from having everything to do. And you're telling me what more I need to do. Like, you need to. I'm sick of hearing that stage. So I don't want to hear from anybody. I want to hear a solution. If you can tell me something I need to do that's going to provide a solution to the actual problem, not just it's another little thing to try, screw that. This is why I don't talk to people about my problems, because I know that this is what I'm going to get. Either people thinking that me talking about my feelings has been valuable, and now at least I feel seen and heard. Don't care. You know what I mean? I care about solutions. I care about understanding, like, make it make sense, make it add up. And so this is how me and God got here, right? Because I've been saying that to him, and I've been feeling really low about it. I'm just like, God, there's just no point me being here. Like, the people don't want to try. The body of Christ is weak. The world is deceived. Jezebel's always winning, right? I'm doing my best, and it feels like my best isn't good enough. I've done my best, and my best will never be good enough for the jury of the sheeple, because I've been critiqued like hell my entire life, despite my best. So my best clearly isn't good enough for anybody except from you. Anyway, what's the purpose in all of this? Be right back. And that's what brings me right back. Sorry, I took a break to have some dark chocolate and green tea, which I love green tea, by the way. It's like nice and bitter, and oh, it's so good. I love green tea. Yeah, and I just like it as it is. Just hot, bitter, leafy, grassy, delicious. Anyway, and the dark chocolate is just for the soul, because I'm emotional. And any ladies of the world know that, when it's the hormonals and emotionals. Because that's the other thing. I'm like, God, I'm ovulating. Usually I'm like feeling so happy and confident. Why am I like now like so emotional during ovulation? That's something. Everything I'm taking every single piece of detail into account. And I think it's also got to do with God trying to really address certain things within me, because I've been seeing in my dreams, I keep talking in my dreams about, you know, how I'm going to get my tubes tied. And I'm serious. I'm so serious about getting my tubes tied for my birthday. And I think that God is trying to prevent me from doing it. I'll be honest. God is trying to convince me out of it. And that's why a lot of this emotional stuff is happening, because he's like, I need to stop you, because I know you're going to go forward with this. Because I keep seeing me saying it in my dreams and explaining it. And I know within myself that I've truly made the decision. So it's like something will have to give before then. Otherwise it's happening. Like, I'm really doing it. Is why would I bring my child into this world? Why would I bring my child here into this horrific place? You know, well, what would be the point? Why would I bring them here to have me as their parent? What a sad story. What a disappointment. You know what I mean? Like, they're better off without. What a sad story. Like, so I'm just like, let's just make, and I know I just don't have to, you know, it's not about the having sex part of it isn't what the point is. The point is, I just want to know that it's not possible to happen. I want that reassurance, because one of the things I dream about constantly is two things. Sorry, my nail is really bothering me, guys. It's really bothering me. I hate when my nails do this. Hold on 1 second. Okay, my nail crisis averted. I forgot what I was saying. all I've been dreaming about the last 2 years, right? And this is why I've been avoiding sleeping. And I've been sleeping a lot the last couple of weeks. See, I'm welling up already now. I only dream about 3 different things. One of them is having a baby. Like, I dream about babies all the time, either my own baby or other people's babies, and just things happening to babies, really horrific things. Like, one of the dreams I had recently, I was watching, it was like a nightmare, like, and they're mostly nightmares when it comes to babies. When like somebody had a baby that they were supposed to be looking after, and they just dropped it like a newborn baby, and they dropped this baby from like a really high height in like this like metallic building we were in, and the baby smacked on the floor, and I was just in the dream, guys. I was crying like you could not imagine. I couldn't believe it. I was crying as if it was my own child, and I ran down to go and check on the baby, and like even thinking about it's making me really sad. And I went down to check on the baby, and the baby was like alive but not okay. And then the next scene in the dream, this baby is like living like with all these physical disabilities, and they're there smiling in the back of the car, like in their car seat, at this parent that just dropped the baby, and the child is looking so happy and like feeling loved. And I'm just like looking at the child thinking, you're such an idiot, because you don't know what these people did like when you were a baby. And you don't know that, because the way that it wasn't like an accident. It wasn't like the parent accidentally dropped the kid. Like, they were being just like, it's as if like they were holding a child. And you know, like newborn babies, there's so many things about them, like how you have to like carry them and stuff, because bless them, everything's still soft and moving. And it would be like having a newborn baby and kind of just like holding them around, like how like it's like when you watch a toddler, basically like when you watch toddlers with their like little baby dolls, you know, when they get like a toy that's a baby, and it's like and they're like a toddler, and they're just doing all sorts with the 1 minute they'll be holding the baby by its ankle, and it's quite funny because it's like, you really this is just showing that you're just a child, right? Because you could never hold a newborn baby. And it's funny to joke with them about that, because it's like, wow, your baby's going to be, going to get some brain damage if you're holding it like this, right? So this is how this person, whoever this was, so that's like one of my dreams. I dream a lot about babies, or I dream about my own baby, and I'm like, how did I, like, I'm like, and then the funny thing is, this is the worst part of said dream, is I won't know who the father is. I won't know who the father is, and I feel like God's doing that on purpose. Because he knows if he was ever to tell me that type of information, I will never see said man in my life. I will never even allow me and said man to have a conversation, because now I've seen it. Oh, hell no. So this is why I just need to just tie this stuff up and just know that they're safe in heaven, and whatever happens, if I fall in love, because that's why I'm scared of falling in love, because God forbid I think, we should have a family. And then I bring my children into this world. I couldn't forgive myself, right? And second thing I always dream of is some kind of extreme situation. So like last night, oh my gosh, and this is after I've had all this conversation with the Lord. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a nice cushy one. There's no rest in this life. There's no rest in this dimension. So I'm here in my dream, and there's an avalanche. So I'm escaping this avalanche, and the dream started off really well. It was really fun. I was actually with one of you guys who I talk to in person, like who I talk to personally a lot. And I was one of you guys, and we were out, and it was like my dream location, right? Like where I'd want to be right now. It was winter, it was snowing, and we were snowboarding. We were snowboarding with somebody else, I'm not going to mention who, but a well-known person. So we are snowboarding, and it is so much fun, and I'm having the time of my life. It's snowy, the snow is thick. I'm with one of you guys. I'm having the time of my life, right? And then we walk into this building, and there's a bunch of people I know from my past life, and they're all working in this building, and I'm like, wow, you guys are all working here, and they're all like in uniform, and they're all like working these like very just like there's clearly more about this dream I don't understand, but I'm going to share it anyway. They're all working in this thing, in this company, like and it's all to do with helping people with fertility. Why can I not get away from the thought of having a womb? It's like you can't get away from it as a woman. Every single thing about living, every moment reminds you that you've been created to create through your womb. Everything, the ovulation, the period, the luteal phase, the menstrual phase. Oh my gosh, everything, the hormonal changes, the me now feeling ravenous, wanting to eat chocolate, dark chocolate, because it just feels like crack cocaine, right? Never tried crack, I never would. Because it's just not the look for me. There's other drugs I could get up behind that will kind of suit my aesthetic, but just the smoking crack, the whole spoon thing, just doesn't suit me. Also, anything injectable, that's just not my bag. You know what I mean? Anyway, we go into this thing, and as we go in, and it's all on this huge mountain. So in order to get to this place, these guys have their like offices on the mountain, and everything is like facing, it's like a really steep mountain. So even the building is like very steep. And I'm like, how are you guys even, because I'm thinking, how are we going to get back up the mountain? Because we didn't think about that part. How are we going to get back up? I'm wondering, how are these people working? Because they're all in offices, they're all wearing this uniform, and they're all just working like what I envision to be like the modern version looking of like slaves in Egypt, going somewhere. And I'm not talking about having a job, guys. I'm talking about where your whole life is just you just following the rules, following the script to the T, right? You like, anyway. So they were working. These were people I know, people I like and whatever. And as I'm going and I'm just kind of observing what they're doing, I'm like watching them in their job role. They're all seated in this exact format, like an office, right? But like on the side of a mountain, and they're all in uniform, and they're all doing the exact same job. They're all like cold calling. They're all like, you know, trying to do this, and they work for a company that is helping with fertility. It's just weird. And then an avalanche. So this avalanche happens, and there's like, it's a big one, right? And there's all this snow, all these trees. Bearing in mind, we're down a mountain, very steep, and it comes through the building. So I am now like fighting for my life to run through this avalanche, right? To get out. And then I do, and then we realize that a bigger one is coming. So then we get to whatever hotel, wherever we're at, and everybody's scrambling. And this is the part that makes the dream a dream I always have. It's always this, some kind of disastrous event, and then everybody's scrambling. There's no one who has focused on what was the strategy. And I always end up being the one to be like, this is what we're going to do. Everyone, you go and do this. You go and do that. Like, because there's no one who's like making like it's so then I'm getting stressed by this dream. So these are how my nights go. It'll be like a dream about a baby thing, and then it'll be like me having to like do this. And then finally the other third, and it'll be a different version. So I've had in a boat, in a huge ship, and the huge waves are coming and doing this. I've had running out of a building and they're made of Lego, and then it explodes the second I manage to get out. And like, it's been insane. Like, it's so insane. And like the other day I was, what was I on? I was like, it was another thing that was kind of like a sport, and I was going really, I can't remember what it was. And it's always these really extreme, just like disastrous elements, or like going to war. There was one where like we were in warfare. It was like a full-blown war. And I mean, I've had even visions of bombs going off and stuff like that, you guys. It's insane. And then again, it's like no one is stepping up. I'm waiting for somebody with a good idea, because somebody did in this dream last night. They were like, oh, let's do this. I'm going to wait here, and guys, we'll all reconvene here in 30 minutes. I think we don't have 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes. Get it together. Like, we need to, like, you. So I was getting so annoyed. And then I turned around. I was like, guys, listen, I'll just let you all know, I don't think that this is a good idea. Here's what I'm going to be doing. And if anybody wants to do what I'm doing, go ahead. If you guys want to do that, go ahead. All I'm going to tell you is that I don't think that's a good idea. And that's what I did. And that's what I would do. Like, this is what I'm saying. All these dreams is exactly how I'd react to those situations in real life. That's why it's so traumatizing. And then like the final type of dream is one about people that I know from the past, and that I just don't want to have to think about at all. And it's always like something revealing, you know, about our relationship, or about them, about the demons that are still there, about the doors that I opened, you know, by having any person in my life to any capacity, or the doors that were forced open upon me because I was born. Simply because of the family that I was born into and the town that I was born in, or rather I was born in, thank the Lord, Jacksonville, Florida, right? But, you know, in the town that I grew up in, which is this one, and the churches that I've been in, all of these things, like, it's like I can't escape the things of the past, because even if they're not happening, even if God's forgiven me, even if I've forgiven others, even if it's not relevant, the simple fact that we ever crossed pathways means that you now could show up in my dreams now. And it's so annoying, because I'm like, I don't want to see these people. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to. I just want to break. Like, what is the freaking point? So this is why I'm saying, you guys, like, I get it now. I feel like in all these dreams, I'm seeing versions of things that could have happened, right? And this is what I've come to the conclusion of. I know this is insane, right? I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't know, God. I don't see the point in me talking. I really don't, because I just know the word I'm talking to. And it's just kind of a waste of time, like, in all honesty. But, you know, I really think that, like, every single one of these bubbles is a version. So when we're dreaming, what we're seeing what us and or others are capable of at some time point in one of the multiverses, because technically speaking, and this is why I think God is the greatest scientist, he's basically said, I've put together all the data of every single possibility that could ever happen. And in all of those times that they overlap with you as humans, right, then those data points, where they all overlap, forming sphericals like bubbles, that's the multiverse. And the universe we're all living in is the universe in which human beings were able to win. And that's what's crazy about it. And why were human beings able to win? It's because God came as a human to do what a human couldn't do, which is to take the correct choice every single time throughout their entire life, right? Which is what Jesus does, right? This is why Jesus has to be God, because only God would know what is the exact correct option every single time. So when we're seeing all these things like in our dreams, and we're seeing things in the world and whatever, we're seeing versions of possibilities of things. It's giving you ideas, because it's like God could be showing me in a dream something about myself as a warning, like, this is where you're headed if you don't change, because this is how it looks in the other multiverse where you don't wake up from where you are right now, right? It's like what he's saying to Adam and Eve, like, this is what, listen, in this universe, if you choose to eat from that tree, the universe, the consequences of that is going to be death. That's what happens in that universe. The universe where you guys eat the fruit, it ends in death. Right? And that's what I'm saying. Our free will is so important. And so that's where Christ comes into it. And God's like, well, I came. And so this is the winning season. And why is this? I'm going to explain that to you. Because Christ comes in. It's like the Spider-Verse movies, which I love, right? And again, the music is one of my favorite things. And Sony, obviously, they're the ones who produced it. It's a very sad story, actually, because they're ruining it. Because there's the first one, I think, is Into the Spider-Verse, then it's Across the Spider-Verse, and the third one I don't know, but it's like a cartoon version. It's like Sony meets Marvel, and I'm not really a fan of any superheroes. I do love Spider-Man though, for some reason. I can't explain it, and again, it makes no sense because I hate spiders. But anyway, in the Spider-Verse movies, right, they always talk about how the multiverse, of Spider-Man, and it's like in each one, it's like the character of the Spider-Man. Oh, I could go on. Oh my gosh. It's so hard to try and put my thoughts, because the thing is, guys, by the time I finish this thought that I'm saying now, in 3 hours, I'm going to be somewhere else with my thoughts. Good. That's why I have to just come and get it all out. It's really hard for me. But anyway, so each one of these Spider-Verse characters, right? It's like the character of Spider-Man is a character. And depending on his choices, right, this person, Spider-Man, it's almost like our human soul. Depending on our choices, there's an infinite number of things that can happen. And this is represented. So him in all these multiverses is these infinite versions of how things can happen, right? And now we're watching the Spider-Verse movies, because in this, the canon events, Spider-Man is, the whole problem that they're having is that Spider-Man is being seen, Miles Morales is being seen to go against the canon events of a Spider-Man, because everyone's going, well, this is just how it's done, right? Something is like the world of today. This is why it kind of makes sense for what's happening in my life and the life of those of us who are winners in this season, where it's like, when you go against what's supposed to be the canon event, this is just life, this is just how we do it. Again, going back to like what I said, these people I've known from the past, all sitting there in their uniform, like doing exactly what they were told, how they were told, like slaves in Egypt. And the rest of us feeling like going against it, right? And then in the Spider-Verse movies, you have Miguel O'Hara who's going against Miles, because Miles wants to, basically, the spoiler alert, the canon event that a lot of them go through, which they all bond over, the trauma bond over, is they have a like family member who's a police officer who ends up dead, right? And they all accept in this multiverse. Now, Miguel keeps Miles out of this because he knows Miles is going to try and prevent this, because Miles is going to discover all of this in this iteration of the multiverse, in this universe. He's going to find out about it and actually be able to prevent it, and Miguel wants to stop that from happening. Now, the reason Miguel is doing that, in my opinion, Miguel O'Hara is one of the most unlikable characters ever in everything I've ever watched. He is not even a real Spider-Man. He's a fake and phony. He's an imposter. He's an imposter. Like I was talking about imposters in my previous video. And like I said to you guys, that the battle in life isn't between good and evil, but the truth versus the closest lie. It all links in together. Miguel O'Hara is controlling this whole multiverse thing. They all have this watch or whatever, like that they can all hop between universes. He doesn't want to give it to Miles because he doesn't want Miles to discover everything. So Miles is being left out of the know. Meanwhile, Miguel has not even had his canonical event, which is the actual real canon event that they all have, which is what? Being bitten by a radioactive spider and then just developing these powers, which again have infinite ways of producing themselves, hence why they all have infinite different personalities and different kinds of ways of how they are a Spider-Man, but they still will have the same exact characteristics of a Spider-Man. Anyway, so he has to shoot himself up. He's shooting himself up with what's not the real deal, like the fake deal, which again, Miguel O'Hara for me is a perfect example of the depiction of the people of this world who are on Satan's team, and how they're trying to like have all these alternatives to what's God-given, like what was just inevitable. Because that's what I realized, the canon events, and this, like, it's inevitable. It was inevitable that God would have to come, because it was inevitable that us as humans would create evil all by ourselves. It was inevitable. It was inevitable that in every single option of every combination of all of our actions throughout all of human history and our use of our free will, like little Sims characters choosing our decisions, that the only universe in where humans won and we didn't all end up in hell is the one where God came down from heaven as a man, right? And so this is why I find the Spider-Verse movie so fascinating, because it's like Miguel's trying to stop Miles, because Miles is like, but what if this is my canon event? Because for up until now, we've all just followed the footsteps the way that we've all just lived our lives how we've lived them. The only person trying to change and control things and go outside of allowing us as humans to live in freedom, like what Christ came to give us, and freedom, like God gave us, go and have dominion, be fruitful and multiply, like have dominion. You know what I mean? Is somebody else trying to convince us of how to use said freedom. This is what we see in the world today. Like the world tells you, like, oh, you need to send your kids to school. You need to do this. You need to go and get a job that's like this. You need to, it's like, who said who? Said who? What if God placed certain things inside of you because that's what you're supposed to be doing? What if, like, and this is like what I'm saying about, like, it's like, this is like what I'm saying about, this multiverse. It's like this universe is the universe. It's the only universe where we didn't end up in death. And that's because it's the universe where God comes as Jesus, and Jesus, the human, it's the only universe where there was a human doing absolutely everything correct the whole time. Because you know what I don't think people give God enough credit for, and not even God, but Jesus in this case, right? Is because of this whole God and Jesus and God, if you see him as a Messiah, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do this as a separate video. I'm going to let this be the first part of the video, okay? I'm going to get into Jesus, the Messiah, and with regards to the multiverse in a separate video, because I really don't want to rush through it, and I'm so conscious right now that I talk so much at the moment, but I've just, like, listen, this is what I'm saying. Like, when Enoch said in the book of Enoch earlier in the series, he was like, jumping between the time, how time is in heaven versus how time is when he's on earth is so different. It's so true. Like when I'm with God and when I'm doing things with God, time operates differently. And again, because he's outside of time, right? It's so different, because like sometimes, guys, I'll have like all the dreams I just outlined to you all, and I'll wake up and it's 20 minutes later. Actually, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I woke up, right? I fell asleep watching something and it was like not very long. Yeah. And I've had like 12 dreams. I feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I've overslept. I wake up, I check the time, it's been 10 minutes. I'm like, I've battled through an avalanche. I've had to deal with this kid who's been come off the thing. I've had to do all of this. I'm exhausted in my sleep, yeah? I'm waking up with a headache. I'm waking up, my body feels exhausted, right? Because this is how I can feel that it's like my spirit, like in that dimension, is doing like what demons are. It can go on without the body. The body's asleep. The body is asleep, but like my soul is like doing what it's got to do, and that's why I think I hate waking up so much, because it's like that's the moment when the human suit comes back on, and I hate that feeling of like, oh, now we're in the lower dimension again, and now I have to like be a human again, and oh, I hate it here, I hate it. But yeah, we're going to talk about Jesus is a whole thing, and why you can't just see him as a prophet, and you can't just see him only as God, and you can't just only see him as human, and why he has to be seen as God and human, and what that has to do with the multiverse, because it just makes so much freaking sense to me. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't know how to navigate this dimension at all. And honestly, I'm quite tired of it. I don't care, as I've been expressing to you all. What I can say is this makes so much sense. And it gives me actually hope that, like, wow, So this is the canon event where if you're on the winning side, this is the time we actually win, no matter what happens, no matter what has been in our past, no matter what we see around us, no matter what we feel like we're incapable of or what we feel like we're capable of. This is the universe. This is the universe within the multiverse of where we succeed as humans. And this is why this is the reality, because this is God, the one that God was always going to choose to be our reality and make sure that this iteration, this option, whatever option it took for us to win, because he loves us, this was going to be it. And that's why I'm just like, when we just don't know anything. Like, that's the truth, guys. One thing I've learned is that we as humans, we don't know anything. We think we know everything and we don't know a thing. We don't know a damn thing. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to come back to Jesus in the next part, because I've just got so much, like, I feel like I could like vomit for like hours worth of what God has shared. And again, it's like putting it into human words, into language, is just so difficult, because I can just see it and I can feel it and I can hear it. I can hear it in this song that I was listening to that's been chasing me throughout my life that I could never find. I can hear it in like the words and the culmination of all my observations. I can hear it in the scriptures. I can feel it in the atmosphere. I can feel it in the spirit. I can feel it in the science. I feel it in history. It's just everywhere. It's just all of those things overlapping. Like, when you overlap everything, it all comes back to the observable, the inevitable truth. Yeah, only God is good. Only God is good. That is the inevitable, observable truth. Only God is good, because this is all, everything that's happening is all a result of our human choice and our free will, and those points that they overlapped. Because even for us to be here, that means that the people who made the mobile phone had to be successful. The people that came up with Wi-Fi, the people that made these earrings, the people that made this shirt that I'm wearing, me actually being born and the sperm meeting the egg, which is the most unfortunate event that took place in all of history, my conception. Every single detail had to come together for this moment. Everything I've done to be here. You know what I mean? Me going out and being, the fact that I chose to go and spend time with the Lord and just be at one and just like allow myself to cry, because I could feel myself like doing what I always do, because I'm like, God, I don't want to get emotional, because I feel like if I start crying, I won't stop. And I still feel very emotional now anyway. And he's like, just let it out. Like, just be, you know what I mean? Just live. And like, this is where we find ourselves. And it's a combination of it all. So anyways, I'm going to maybe have a little cry. I won't. I'm going to go straight into the next video. I will just cry afterwards and just spend my time crying. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. And like I said, this is just my new running theory about the multiverse. And it just makes so much sense. And with the bubble theory, and if the spiritual world, because if we're saying that the bubbles are in the spiritual world, that makes sense. And then our dreams could just be God showing us a glimpse of what's happening in the multiverse, past, present, or future, for any of us. So what people have done in our past that we didn't know about in this universe, what we could become in another universe if we don't overcome this thing. He knows we're going to overcome it, which is why, and we're going to overcome it because he's warning us about it. Hence why he's showing us how the results of that ended up in that universe, and why that's not the universe in question that we're living in, because that's the losing universe. And so our only real choice right now as humans really is to choose which side we're going to sit on. Are we going to choose the winning team or the losing team? Wow. So we'll come to Jesus in the next video. I'll take a little break for some dark chocolate and some green tea, and just regroup a little bit, because I do feel so tearful. But it's just like the love of God is just so strong in the atmosphere, and just being in the spirit is so amazing. And having to come back down to earth is so depressing. It's so depressing having to be here. And so I really am I'm just crying out to God at the moment. Like, God, give me a reason why this is worth it. Because I don't see one. I don't see anything beneficial enough about anything. I don't see anything beneficial enough about success, about winning, about having everything I ever dreamed of. Like, even if I was to get every single thing I could ever ask the Lord, like above like everything, it still just doesn't feel worth it, because this place feels like hell. And like, that's the underlying truth, is that, yeah, this is how bad it is with you humans. This is the better option. This is the best case scenario. Only God is good. Anyways, guys, I try to be okay with being emotional in front of you guys, because I'm trying to work on not being the hard ass all the time. Because God's like, how are you going to form any relationships? Because the only time I'm emotional really is with the Lord and with you guys. Anyways, you guys, life's a game. Let's play to win. I'll catch you in the next part where we're going to be talking about Jesus as far as the multiverse. Because if life's a game, let's play to win. This is all going to be linked in the description box, guys. I'm going to just link it into this All Religions Evil series. I'm going to just link it into this big series, okay? The one about if God is real, why is it evil in the world? I'm going to put this in there because honestly, I'm glad that we have another more scientific. I've been talking a lot about the spiritual, the church related stuff. It's nice to also look at the scientific aspect of it, as I said I would be doing. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. I'll catch you guys in the next part. And God bless you. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.